Hello, everybody. Welcome to an all-new episode of Holotheatre. As always, I am Darian Tartaglione, also known as D Tartag1. So tonight, right now, it's just myself. In a little bit, we have a recorded interview with Jonathan Murray, mainstay of Georgia Star Wars CCG, and joining me for that interview will be the one and only Anthony. I am the Bat Mouse, Howard. So that's definitely going to be a nice little interview. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with Worlds. Again, Worlds is, well, today's the 5th, and according to my calendar, Worlds is next week. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I know Batmouse was looking forward to it. Jonathan Throdo, he was definitely looking forward to it. And I'm pretty sure most of you guys who are watching, you're looking forward to it as well. So before we go and talk about Worlds and what's going on next week, let's go ahead and get into that interview with Jonathan and Batmouse. I believe it's about a 35, 40-minute long interview, so that should take us most of the show. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the interview. Okay, so we're sitting here today with the Batmouse, and joining us as our special guest is Jonathan, or better known as Throdo. So you came on here today to talk a little bit about Worlds, but more importantly, you're running a Cube event on Friday for at Worlds this year. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm really excited about it. Thank you guys so much for having me on here. I really enjoy y'all show, and so I was so surprised when y'all asked me to come on and talk about this cube some. So, um, yeah, Chris Schoenthal asked me maybe a couple months now ago, asked me if I'd be interested in running a cube, and I think at the time maybe I didn't know how much preparation and whatnot would have to go into it. But I said yes. Uh,
So,
and
uh,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, so how can you say no to Chris on him coming to ask you to run a cube?
I guess I couldn't say no. I mean, honestly, it's just something that I like to do. I really like cube tournaments. Used to run all the Atlanta tournaments
Mm-hmm.
back in the day. So I like running tournaments, hosting them. This will certainly be the biggest tournament that I've had a part in hosting, but it's gonna be fun. Yeah,
Well, that's the name of the game, right? Is have fun, but have
absolutely.
fun with a great way to like give people back that drafting format, that old
Yeah,
school like, oh, let's
Mm-hmm.
just crack open some packs and play some games. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah.
Good job
You
on
know,
that.
I haven't been to a Worlds event in 2 years. I think it's been 5 years. I think I went in 2017.
2017.
It was the last time Bastion. I think that's when I played.
Was the one up in New Jersey that was not Dagobah World?
Um, I guess so, but I don't know what you mean by not dig of the word.
Oh, Dagobah Worlds was the one where the entire game room was just,
The swamp.
Oh,
it was a swamp. Yeah.
oh yeah. No, it wasn't that. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but yeah, so I'm not exactly sure what normally happens as a side event at World, but I feel like a cube draft is kind of the best thing you can do because people are so focused on preparing for the main event,
Mm-hmm.
preparing their decks. They want to have a backup deck in case they need it the next day, et cetera, et cetera. They want to test all the matchups.
Yeah.
Uh, the prep would never stop. But so building a deck for an alternate format, I feel like a lot of people won't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But something like a cube, you can just show up and play. So that that should fit right in, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great theory. That's a great thought. Not having to do the extra work is really kind of one of the most appealing aspects of it,
Mm-hmm.
especially for a guy like me who is terrible at arts and crafts anyway.
Have you ever done
Uh,
arts and crafts for your own self, Batmouse?
I have, but most of the time I just have like you print them out, or somebody hands
Yeah.
me a deck, and then. Oh, I mean, if someone hands me a deck and I win with it, I mean, it still kind of works. Um, maybe
You
just
get
arts
the
and crafts
credit.
is not the strong part.
So, but speaking of arts and crafts, uh, you sent us me over like your list of the cube is out there. It's on the forums and everything for everybody to see.
Yeah.
Uh, first of all, I need to sign up for it. So,
Yeah,
uh,
you can absolutely. Well,
uh,
there's only 3 spots left, I
yeah,
think.
put me in there. I'm in. Uh, I'm in.
All
So
right, perfect.
I'm just gonna post that right now. I'm in. Uh, but
Two
Just to
slots
be
left.
clear,
Okay.
as of Sunday evening, there were only 3 spots left.
yes, as of Sunday evening, there's 2 spots left because I just signed up.
Well, there you go.
So, but that's besides the point. But you posted your the cube list, and if you look at it, it's clearly over what 2,000 cards.
Cube is. I thought I was making each cube 1,000,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I was adding it all up, I just forgot that I have 30 extra cards in there, so it's actually 30 for each side, so it's actually 1,060 cards.
60.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask, like, are they proxies?
Yeah, they're
Or
all
okay,
cards.
they're all proxies. Please tell me did you print them all out, cut them all out, put them like into sleeves and everything in preparation
Is there
for
a
this?
is there a ton of German young Jedi just like like sitting behind all these behind all these pictures?
Um, I did not. Okay, well, this is something that I talked with Chris about because when he approached me, I said, "Chris, that sounds great, but I don't know if I don't know if either of us understands how much work this is going to be. I know it's a lot to make one cube. Um, so he told me, well, the PC Scott and himself helped me out so much, and I just want
Okay.
to give them so much credit and thanks to them. I mean, Scott is a busy man already, and he took a lot of time to make this happen, at least as much time as what I'm doing. And so big shout out to him. And so one of the things that he did was he got me a lot of the supplies, the sleeves,
Mm-hmm.
the backing cards, and then he had most of the slips well printed out and professionally cut.
Okay.
Um, so there were a couple things that I printed out and cut just to make it look how I want. I can show
Gotcha.
y'all. I can show y'all because I'm still putting it all together. If y'all want to see.
Oh, we'd love that.
Yeah.
I'd love to see
Yeah.
that.
I would love to
Okay.
see it.
Let me
But
walk into
while you're walking, let's
the
go ahead
room
and
here.
like talk a little bit about. So we'll actually advertise your cube. So your cube is Friday at noon. It's Friday, October 14th at noon. $10 if you're entering on site. $5 for pre-register, but that's also included in the weekend pass. Number of games depends on the number of players. Maximum number of players is 30. So again, this is going to be a draft, and it's definitely going to be fun. Uh, So the requirements again, if you want to enter, again, there's only 2 spots left. Enter onto the forums. The prizes are going to be very unique. I don't know what Jared has in store for them. Frodo, if you can like, I don't want to spoil it, so let's not bring that up.
Yeah, no, we can. I'll mention the process. Let me show you. I'll show you what I've been working just because y'all asked about it. All the arts and crafts. I don't know if I can. If this will show up too well. This
Oh
is
wow,
you'll see all these
Wow.
boxes here.
yeah,
These are gonna be full of craftsy cards. and I'm kind of working here on some right there. Y'all can see that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then Scott sent me, some boxes. I don't know if it was showing up. Yeah, he sent me some boxes with we got different sleeves and everything in there. So um, backing cards here. These are some kind of young Jedi.
Oh yeah. They've been giving those out with the foil slips. I don't know where they're
Yeah,
from.
yeah. They're not
Yeah,
they're not actual young Jedi cards, but
and I don't feel like they're Jedi Knight either.
Yeah, that's weird.
oh no,
Not
it
sure
is.
what they
It is.
are.
I'm sorry. It is actually Jedi Knight. It says it's a
Oh,
league.
they're Jedi Knight cards.
Yeah, it's not an actual card though. It's something about you put your name on it, and you get points for being in a league or something.
Oh, so that's what we're backing the cards with. I kind of wish it was Young Jedi. Like Young Jedi was not a bad game.
I mean, if you enjoy war, it was a great game.
Yeah, I do.
What I mean,
I still have some Young Jedi cards.
I think I have a box of like at least 2 boxes of Young Jedi unopened somewhere.
Oh wow.
Just like sitting in the corner, but there's.
Ooh,
It was a
excuse
good
me.
game. It was another Decipher fun game.
Yeah.
But those are boxes that will just stay in the corner.
With Bat Mouse.
With that mouse
Yeah.
staying in the corner.
So, how much time have you put into making this cube? Because this is just crazy.
Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I put some good time into it, so I would have been doing more worlds prep myself.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been tweaking my decks and stuff like that. And honestly, I've been on and off with the game, over the last 10 years, and I kind of came back more to it about a year ago. Started playing, been having a lot of fun. But even then, I was working on my cubes more
Mm-hmm.
than I was working on real decks. Like I have what I call the broken cube, which is my favorite cube that I have. We played that with the other Atlanta guys a few times. So got that all up to date. I mean, I just been this year has been the year of the cube for me. I've been building cubes, stuff like that. So
I got.
um,
You mentioned a broken cube. What's the broken cube? Now you piqued
yeah,
my interest.
yeah, the broken cube. I had this idea maybe 5 or 8 years ago, something like that, of what if there was a format where people could play the most broken cards that ever existed,
Oh God.
and I built the first iteration of the broken cube. And the thing is that when people think about broken decks in Star Wars, they think about Asteroid Sanctuary, they think about all these decks where you need you can't have a cube that has 20 asteroid sectors in it. You know what I mean? So a lot of the broken decks don't show up in the broken cube because they're really specific kind of deck builds.
Mm-hmm.
But the broken cube looks at the individual power level of a card, the most broken single card that you can play in different decks, and there's a rule with the broken cube that we use, which is there's no errata. So you take the most broken
It was
cards
written.
and you play
Wow.
them, even the decipher cards, and you play them without errata. So
Oh
one of the objectives is hidden base. Have y'all ever played hidden base without the errata?
no,
I've never.
no.
Nope.
What is it
Okay.
again?
It's whatever the card says. I mean, you just read the card and you do what it says. And so, so the idea is, I'm playing broken cards. You're playing broken cards. Whose broken cards are gonna win? And
Mm-hmm.
actually, it sounds horrible. I will say it sounds horrible. It sounds just like the most degenerate things would happen. But actually, all the cards are extremely powerful, and it's actually balanced. I mean, I did try to build it to be fun at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
not just to be where somebody sits down and gets blown out and what can you do, you know?
Yeah.
So there's revolution, there's there's force choke decks, but then there's
Limited
also
resources,
limited resources. Absolutely, yeah. That's a chain
non-unique,
card.
non-unique limited resources.
What?
I mean, you have to. There's all. I think there's only one of those in there.
Oh.
But
Oh, okay.
for example, there's the old Rebel Fleet Virtual, which only existed for like a couple weeks before it was deleted. Um, and
That was broken.
I don't remember
yeah,
that one.
there's a lot of stuff, but everybody's playing something broken. So
Mm-hmm.
and it combined some different eras. So you got your PC, like the early players committee, the late players committee, the current stuff, all that. Anyway, it's I think it's a lot of fun. The other Atlanta guys have said it's fun, but for the World's Cube, it definitely didn't want to use it because it's kind of its own specialized thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder to just pick up and play for a newer player or something like that. So I wanted something that was a little more widely accessible for this cube.
That's fair.
Yeah, there
That,
was
that's
some
good.
yeah there was some things with the broken cube. An idea that I had with the broken cube was to not draft any locations.
Okay.
And cubes before that I've seen have just you always have to draft your locations. Maybe you're given some fixed cards that are locations, but in Magic, and I don't really play Magic. I've never even drafted Magic, but I know in Magic, you sit down at a draft and you don't have to draft your forests and your islands.
Nope.
You
Right.
can there can be draftable locations and or lands. I guess called lands in Magic, but for the most part, you just you get your lands afterwards. So I said, well, why don't I try this in the cube? Because what ends up happening in the cube is you see a great card like Wisa, and you don't
Mm-hmm.
know if you're going to get Blasphemous Chambers. So it's actually a pretty bad card. But it ended up working really well, and so I brought it over into this cube for Worlds where you won't you won't have to worry at all about what locations that you get. You'll get whatever locations that you want for your deck. And it opened up a lot of options for decks that wouldn't really be possible in one cube because,
Too
say
many
for
locations
example,
to hunt down.
what did you say?
Said too many locations to hunt down to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you can play it, like
Yeah,
TTO, stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah. Well, TTO isn't in there, but EBO, for example, is, EBO, you could never draft EBO. And there's plenty of decks that you just like Ralter operations is there. So
Mm-hmm.
the virtual ROPS objective, and so you're going to get those spaceport sites with the ROPS deck.
That makes sense.
Um, yeah, and
Absolutely.
so and also you can try to be creative with it if you want to come up with your own platform, or let's just say you want to play throne room. You don't want to have to worry about any kind of draft and
Mm-hmm.
objective and all the cards that you link with it. There's still lots of combos that you need to set up during the draft. I mean, if you're going to play matching lightsabers, you got to make sure to match up your lightsabers and your guys. Or same thing. Normally matching ships, you normally get those together, but there's still plenty of stuff you have to match up to get your deck to work right.
Mm-hmm. And I noticed, like on your cube, for example. So, I like your that idea. So, like on your cube, for instance, light side, you have old allies. They have no idea we're coming, and Yavin 4 base operations in there.
Yeah,
But and it essentially gives you the Falcon, the Stardust, and the Restore to Freedom to the Galaxy. I mean, that just seems
yeah,
fair because you need those to run the deck.
yeah. So there are something like 30 cards for each side that when you draft it, you get an additional card, and it says it on the card. So when you see it in the draft, you'll know what
Okay.
you're getting. And
S-
when it comes to the objectives, you'll get, whatever that basic card is that you need. So, like Old Allies obviously in the competitive meta is so strong. Um, but in a cube draft, it's you don't get the whole pre-built deck. You do get the
mhm.
Falcon, but you don't. You have to make sure to find a Ray. You might not find
Yeah.
the best Ray,
Yeah.
but you're gonna have to draft one of the Rays. You're gonna have to draft anything else that you want, and you have the character restriction to deal with too. So
Yeah.
I
So,
don't think it's gonna end up being too good.
and I like how, for the most part, you picked objectives that don't have too much when it comes too much character restrictions, so that way people are allowed to play what they want.
Yeah, yeah. ROPS is in there, which you think, oh, you have to play Imperials, but you don't only have to play Imperials in ROPS. Of course,
You need the Imperials to flip.
yeah,
Is all.
you need some of them. You can still play EPP or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with Court. Court has been played as a mains platform back in the day. It's just the Aliens deck, but if you find Scum, then you will really be happy to see the Court objective too. So, and then some of the times, you mentioned how when you get an objective, you get an additional card. I
Mm-hmm.
did that with the objectives, but after that, I tried to do it with the weaker cards generally. So what I've found in the past drafting is if you see the Outrider, you're probably not going to draft the Outrider because you probably don't have Dash Rendor. So I just made it so when you see one of those, you get both of them, so that
Okay.
it's a little combo package that goes together. And then
Mm-hmm.
some of the combo packages are kind of out there. Like, let me see. I put
Dengar and all wrapped up.
Yeah, so one of the kind of themes in there is capturing. Actually, that goes on a little bit with the court objective, but um, when you draft court, you also get the Sarlacc. That's the add-on card for court. You get a Sarlacc too. So if you want, you can try to feed people to the Sarlacc.
I
Oh, I
love
love
that.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not
I
all
I
just
love this.
yeah,
Oh no, I was going through your list right now, and I just found. So you have Arctic Wii, and if you draft Arctic Wii, you get Broken Concentration along with it.
yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
was the biggest thing that sticks out to me is on your list is for the dark side, you have Twin Sons of Tatooine.
yeah.
Like that, not a lot of people play that objective. I mean, I don't think I've seen anybody take it to a major.
Well, I don't. I'm not trying to just have the most common things here. I felt like it was a really good fit for the cube because for one thing, it plays on Tatooine, and I already wanted to have a lot of Tatooine locations available.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it's a really wide open objective. You can play any kind of character or ship you want. It does encourage you to play Dark Jedi, but who doesn't like playing a couple Dark Jedi? I mean, when you see those come around
Oh yeah.
when you're drafting, you're gonna draft it.
And
And
I like this one. Silence is golden with forced servitude.
yeah, yeah. Well, there's some cards that people are playing in really competitive decks these days, like those that I feel like would be good inclusions in the cube. And
Mm-hmm.
there is BB-8. I'm not BB-8, BB-9E, but
Mm-hmm.
there's only one of them. There's only one, so you're not gonna have seven of those or whatever. Yeah.
I
Did
really
y'all look
like
at the
I say
yeah,
I really like your fixed cards. Um, the fix solving a lot of problems,
yeah,
but not all of the problems, which I really like. You're not just covering everything for people.
Yeah.
Um, but you're not getting all of the shields. You get really it only looks like you only get aim high or secret plans,
yeah,
and
Mm-hmm.
then you've got to figure out the rest of it. I like
yeah,
that. I really like that.
Yeah.
yeah. You get the starting effect. You get aim high secret plan, and then you can draft some other defensive shields, but then there are other counter cards in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there is, for example, a landing claw that one person will get the landing claw, but then one person will get no escape virtual that
There you
really
go.
shuts down landing claw. So even something like in the fixed cards, you see that there's no imperial arrest order.
Yeah.
Instead, I went with the episode one version, begin landing your troops or whatever it's
Mm-hmm.
called,
Hmm.
because I like Nabber and Ellis. I feel like they should have a place in the game,
I agree.
and and I don't want to give everybody the counter right off the bat, but you can draft Imperial Arrest Order if you want, and there's other counters to Nabber and Ellis too. So it tries to have some strong cards like Nabber and Ellis, but
Mm-hmm.
also counter cards. And then the fixed cards, you get Sense and Alter, which everybody will get one Sense and Alter, um, and you can counter cards with those too. So
I like how everybody's gonna get a light side and a dark side Jawa. Like, was that just something like to be kind of cute, or was that like they told you to put in a Jawa for everybody?
nobody told me. I want people when they sit down and they look at their, the first thing you're gonna look at is the fixed card, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna come to the end of the fixed card. And you're gonna see a Jawa sitting there. You're gonna say, "What in the world is this?" Who puts a Jawa in the fixed cards? But I'm giving everybody a Jawa, and if one person plays it and does something awesome with it during the day, that'll be a win.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, I mean, there is a reason for the Jawa other than just to have something out of the ordinary. I mean, I want people to, initially see that Jawa and just their juices start flowing in their brain. They start thinking, how can I use this Jawa?
Oh, I need to
Again,
find first strike. I need to find draw their fire. I need
Yep.
to.
yeah, and
Yep.
so it makes you immediately start thinking about what are different things I can do when I'm building my deck,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of little cards like that throughout the cube. When you look at the list, where you're going to kind of raise your eyebrows, like, is this
Mm-hmm.
really good or is it really bad? And I designed the cube. I don't know the answers to all these questions.
Yeah, I agree. And so, looking at the registered players, how does it feel to have such a really good field, and amount of interest already? I mean, you're at 27 registers online right now, 28 if you include me. But like looking at the list of players, you have former world champions, you have some of the greatest players ever signed up for this. Clint Hayes is coming out of the woods to play this. Like, you gotta feel like just really good that a lot of these players are really wanting to play in the cube.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. I mean, I'm mostly excited to just see people I haven't seen in a long time, and of course some of these awesome players that are going to play in the cube I've met before, and some of them I
Mm-hmm.
haven't. So the opportunity to meet them will be excellent, and also just to see what they do at the cube. I mean, I've never seen Johnny Chu draft a cube before,
It's
but I might
scary.
be staring over his shoulder the whole time. I don't know.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
Well, him and his boys
yeah,
too,
he's
right?
got
Both of his.
both of his kids are signed up for this. Like, I hope that I don't have to face any three of them. And then like I said, we have Clint Hayes is signed up. I can't remember the last time he played in an event. We got a few former world champions besides Johnny. Joelson, Phil are both signed up, and then Brian Mishke's playing. Like, I don't know if he's going to play in the main event, but he's signed up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
So,
definitely a pretty stacked field.
yeah.
So it
Yeah.
looks scary.
Yeah. I mean,
I
at the end of the day, the feud is all about having fun. Sure, you know, no matter how good these players are, they're going to be there to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'll tell you what I would like. I would really like in a future year, maybe even next year, if the players committee would consider doing something like this, even at Friday at Worlds or at another time, and calling it the Cube World Championship,
I can see it.
um, and to just have a world champion for an alternate format.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the only problem is like you said, you only can allow 30 people to sign up. So, what you would need to do is, I would think there had to be like multiple copies of this cube being that are made.
Well, I mean, I'm
And
making
start earlier in the day too.
Oh yeah.
yeah, I'm making five copies for these 30 players, and I could expand on that if I have more time. Especially if
Mm-hmm.
we knew a year in advance or something like that.
Right.
We could up it to 40 or 50 players, and I
Yeah.
think it would be good. You know, so
So, being that you made the cube, do you have any like tips for drafting?
um, I think when you draft, it's good to try to keep your options open, but then at the same time, if you see in one of your first packs, if you see a card that excites you, to just pick it and try to go with it because
Okay.
at the end of the day, I mean, it is about having fun. So yeah, there's a lot of different things. I will just go over real quick. We've kind of heard about some oddball cards here that we've talked about today, but I tried to make it a well-rounded cube. You've got objectives if you want them,
Mm-hmm.
or you've got certain interrupts, that don't require objectives. You got space, you got ground, you got aliens for both sides. There's ancient warfare and for light side, scum for dark side. There's space weapons. There's blaster, non lightsaber weapons decks for both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, you got a lot of different choices for locations and whatnot. So,
Okay.
so there should be something for
Awesome.
everyone.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to playing. Batman, so I don't think you get in time into Atlanta in time for this, do you?
That's the unfortunate part is I'm not going to be able to make it in time. What I was going to ask though, and throwing back to what you were saying earlier, your broken cube.
Yeah.
What about a drunken Saturday night broken cube?
Well, I would say Sunday night. Oh wait, no, you're not going to be there.
Well, I mean, but and then you have a bunch of people that may be leaving, and a Saturday
Yeah.
night for everybody to drown their sorrows. We'll drown our sorrows, and then we'll try to make each other cry with a broken cube. I mean, that kind
Uh,
of sounds like plenty of fun,
Yeah.
along with all the other great things we're doing. But
Yeah.
yeah.
if you, but also having that broken cube aspect,
Yeah. I will
I
tell you
would
that
be in. I'm just
I
saying.
don't. I'm not going to commit to anything because it's a lot of work for me right now to get this cube together. And
Yeah.
my broken cube, I mean, I already have it built and everything, but actually, it's not. I'd have to go through and do some fixing up for it. I don't know if I'll even have time, fortunately, but
Gotcha.
Putting more work on the man.
another time. Another time.
Yeah, I'm not trying to throw any more work on you. I just if you had it together, I'm just
Yeah.
saying I'd be around and would gladly make a fool of myself,
Yeah.
getting blown out by cards that I've never seen because I didn't come to the game until like 2009. So everything that came before that would be in your broken cube
Yeah.
would be a complete surprise to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of the fun of the broken cube. But that won't be the world's cube. But
aw.
yeah,
like
I
you.
will mention. I will mention. Well, Dan, you had briefly mentioned the prize support.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give another shout out to Scott because he had this great idea for a kind of special prize format that I would never have thought of it. I don't think, and he thought of it. It's gonna be really fun, and so all props to him for that. That's I'm not telling anybody what it is. Scott knows, Chris Schoenthal knows, and I know. I really
Well, you can tell
And,
us. We won't tell anybody.
yeah, I'll tell you when I tell everybody else.
Ah,
But be excited. Be excited is what I'm hearing. Just be
Yeah.
excited.
Well, it's just another little thing to make this a special event.
well, I mean, it's already a special event. Like, I'm excited.
Good. Well, I'm glad you're going to be there and play. Absolutely.
So, I mean, at this point, like, why don't we just, okay, fine, we'll keep it hidden.
And always reaching for the spoiler.
I
Always trying to
am.
pull that
I
spoiler out.
am. That's the best thing about Holotheatre are the spoilers.
Oh no, absolutely, absolutely. And if you were gonna give anyone a spoiler, this would be the place for you to drop it. But I get it. You want to keep that little extra piquant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're playing in Worlds. How do you feel about playing in Worlds in Atlanta?
I'm excited about it. I'm excited. The last time I played Worlds, like I said, maybe 5 years ago, and I'm not gonna be the most competitive player, I don't think, but I at least feel like I have one good deck. So
What is it? Light side?
it's light side.
Ooh, what is it?
It's light side. It's profit. I'm gonna play profit.
Okay, that's interesting.
I like it. I like
I
it.
don't. I mean, outside of like Jared Napolitano, I don't see anybody playing Profit. So the
Yeah.
fact that you just said I'm playing Profit,
Yeah.
interesting. I like that.
Yeah. I mean,
I think Prophet's good. I think Prophet could be very good.
You also think
Yeah.
Quiet Mining Colony is good.
And I think there's a couple trophies that would. There's at least one trophy that would agree with that, right? Right?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think there's at least one trophy that would
I don't
agree with
know.
that.
I don't know.
Something about consolation champion, yada yada,
That's fair.
something like that.
Okay.
yeah. For Dark Side, I don't know. I have a deck that I have been set on playing, but I'm growing less fond of it. So I'm also growing less fond of the lighting in this room. It's flickering. But
Well,
anyway,
It works. It works for now.
it works for now, and maybe your dimming favor for your dark side deck will clear up.
There you go.
Just remember, I mean, have fun. That's the biggest point, right?
Yeah.
Go see people, have fun, play some cards. I mean, try not to let certain people win, but that's about it.
yeah. I will say one thing about the main event. I heard that Johnny Chu is not playing in the main event. And I know he's playing in the cube, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna call you out, Mr. Chu, because the last time Worlds was in Atlanta, you won. So you're the
Oh.
defending champ here. You're the defending champ here. You need to play.
That's a good. I like that.
Yeah.
Calling out Johnny Chu. Not a lot of people have the gumption to do that.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm not his competition at the event, but
Hey,
but he
But
did
you're
win
willing to
last time
you're
they
willing
were.
to highlight what needs to be done.
I mean,
You're willing to highlight what needs to be done.
I mean, Johnny. A lot of people say he is the greatest of all time. He hasn't won a third worlds yet, so I think maybe he should try. When
Hey, the people want it. The people
People
want to
do.
see it. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I think people would like to see it. I don't know how many people want to feel it. Just saying.
everyone.
I love to see it, but not being in the path it makes it a lot easier, right?
Yes, yeah. Like, I mean, I don't want to go up against Johnny Chu. Do you?
I don't want to play Johnny Chu. I don't want to play him in person. I mean, I want to play him in person. And maybe I'll be able to sneak a game in team tournament or something against him. But yeah, main event. I don't know that main event is where I want to be. If it's
Yeah.
Johnny Chu.
Well, it's too late, y'all. I already called him, so sorry.
Then this is all on you.
Yeah.
If everyone turns
Yes.
into burning wreckage, this is all Frodo's fault. Be aware, folks.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll take the credit when we win.
When Johnny Chu defeats everybody and just rolls into worlds and just like it just takes down the entire field, goes undefeated throughout the entire thing. This is all on you, sir.
Yeah. What can I say?
Glutton for punishment. Glutton for punishment.
When I get paired up against him round one, I'm gonna cry.
No, rightfully so. I mean,
I don't even think that's a random. I think that's a if he does play, I think that has to happen.
I agree. It definitely has to happen. If
so we're gonna make that note.
I was gonna say, if Chris is watching this, he needs to like make it happen. Unless you don't want it to happen, sir.
And I've already told him my light side too.
Yeah. You're definitely setting yourself up for success. You know.
This is a Frodo Chu grudge match that could be happening.
I think it needs to be on stream too.
I think we would stream that.
Yeah.
Multiple angles.
Well, I mean, we already have the multiple angles coming at everybody. So. But okay, well, I think that is enough for tonight. Again, Worlds is in roughly a week from today. Again, we're recording this on a Sunday, so it is 2 weeks from the day that we're recording it, but it's about a week from when we actually will air the episode. So, but I know Batmouse is excited. I know Frodo's excited. I know I'm excited. So. Hopefully everybody who isn't there will be watching on camera, and it's definitely going to be an interesting and fun event.
Yeah, absolutely. Super excited, folks.
Yeah, thank y'all so much for having me on. I look forward to seeing y'all in a couple weeks.
Yeah, definitely.
Looking forward to meeting you.
Okay, everybody. Well, everybody, that's all we have for our interview with Jonathan today. So we'll kick it back to myself on the main show, finish up for the night, and then that's pretty much it. So, yeah. You got anything else, Batmouse?
I have nothing else other than I'm excited to see all of you at Worlds and excited to just be in the presence of apparent greatness. Because maybe Johnny Chu will still be there when I get there.
We'll see. Jonathan, you got anything else for the rest of the night?
No, that's it. Thank y'all so much.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining us. And we'll have, again, we'll go back to myself on the main show. So thanks again, guys.
Good one.
Okay, so we're sitting here today with the Batmouse, and joining us as our special guest is Jonathan, or better known as Frodo. So you came on here today to talk a little bit about Worlds, but more importantly, you're running a Cube event on Friday for at Worlds this year. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm really excited about it. Thank you guys so much for having me on here. I really enjoy y'all's show, and so I was so surprised when y'all asked me to come on and talk about this cube some. So, yeah, Chris Schoenthal asked me.
Okay, so we're sitting here today with the Batmouse, and joining us as our special guest is. Okay, everybody, sorry about that. So apparently the interview was looped. I blame myself for that, obviously. I didn't change over the settings from last week. So, checking up on what's going on in the Star Wars CCG world right now. The Road to Worlds is 7 days from over. So, if you're currently still playing in it, make sure you get your 12 games in. The event, again, lasts for 7 more days. Wrong screen. Checking up on the standings, however, David Woods jumped over Timo Dussel to take the top spot. Timo sitting at number 2, followed by Tom Struthers and Greg Shaw at number 4. Andy Davies is sitting at 9 and 2. Charlie Arlinson has a chance to get to 11 and 1, but David Woods would continue to have that higher opponent win percentage, so he would maintain first place. And then looking on down the line a little bit, Brad Kipple is 6-0. So if Brad can win his last 6 games, he would be the champion of the Road to Worlds event for this year. Speaking of Worlds, it's right around the corner, actually. Worlds starts on next Thursday. Coverage will start on Friday. Friday is casual, or Thursday's casual gaming. Apparently we have the room all day on Thursday, so for those who are going. And Thursday evening, just as a little bit of a forward to it, Thursday we're going to do Holotheatre from Worlds as long as we can. So make sure you guys watch that. Holotheatre, again, will not be on Wednesday night. It will be on Thursday night live from Worlds. Friday, we have Throdo's Cube Spectacular. Again, we just covered that with Jonathan a little bit ago with that interview. And then we have the team tournament that evening. Saturday is the main event. And Sunday is the top 8 plus the consolation. If you are going to Worlds, make sure you send over your proof of vaccine, digital photo, vaccine card itself. Make sure you check the COVID policy. Currently, we're at like 48 players for the weekend pass and for the main event. Joe, Matt, and Phil all are participating in the Cube. They will not be participating in the Constellation or the team tournament. So they'll be sitting around on Sunday afternoon doing absolutely nothing. So that's what we got coming up for Worlds. Again, like I said, Worlds is in 8 days. Like it's funny that it's right around the corner, but it really is. And then checking up on the OCS. So the OCS from last month finished up. We have our top 16, everybody. So again, checking up on our top 16, they are Bastian Winkelhaus, Zeboit Skawara, Drew Lichtenstein, Brad Kipple, Gavin Ortlund, Eric Spixma, Connor Britton, Steve Baroni, and making it last month were Paul Myers and Joe Olson. Our at-large bids were, for the first half, Matt Harrison Trainer, and for the second half, Mike Kessling, and then overall, Ryan Saracen and Greg Shaw. So congratulations to our top 16. Definitely a bunch of guys who earned it. Oh, and I forgot our top for February, Justin Desai and Bill Kafer made it. So there's our top 16 for the 2022 OCS season. As for the draft and when it will start, that is to be determined. More information will come in the next week. So make sure you guys stay tuned to the forums, Slack, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Discord, Holotheatre, obviously. But make sure you guys stick tuned to all of that. And I know I didn't do a token last week, so I think this week's token is going to be Womp Rat. Kind of fits. But that's all we have for tonight. Again, make sure you guys stay tuned to Holotheatre for next week. We're going to be live from Worlds. I know Bill Kafer's going to be there on Thursday. Brian Fred, Mike Kessling, Drew, and hopefully a lot of other players. So that way we can interview like everybody who's coming in. We can talk about the meta, what they expect to see, what they don't want to see, and just overall how excited they are for the event as it is. So until next time, everybody have a good weekend, stay safe, and as always, may the force be with you. Good night, everybody.